Greetings everyone, and thanks for joining us on this paranormal pit stop. Tonight, we'll be exploring a historic Catholic church located off of Mission Road out of San Antonio in Texas that's claimed to be the oldest unrestored stone church in the whole of America, aside from its interior artwork, which has received several refurbs to ensure its preservation. Rumored to harbor a range of chilling ghostly activity tied to its past, are you prepared to brave the history and hauntings of Mission Nuestra Señora de la Purísima Concepción de Acuña? Historically, in 1711, what's more simply referred to as Mission Conception was first founded as a headquarters, purposed in conversion of the Hacienda people in the ways of Catholicism, in order for them to be accepted as Spanish citizens. In 1731, this mission's friars would move their operation to San Antonio, after which it's documented their congregation would be comprised namely of members of the Pahalit who spoke a Coahuiltecan dialect. And in 1755, work was completed on this new mission site, which included its church and convento, a plaza, living quarters, a rectory, and offices. Records dating back to 1762 tell us that the Mission Conception would baptize a total of 792 Mission Indians, a term utilized to unceremoniously categorize native bloodlines from mixed tribes that were forcibly relocated to work under Spain, and would inter 596 the same year. By 1782, only 77 of these individuals remained, and under the stress of political factors coupled with the struggle of attempting to achieve initial goals, in 1824 the mission would be secularized. On October 28th of 1835, Texian insurgents under James Bowie and James Fannin and Mexican soldiers under Colonel Domingo de Ugarteca would meet in the Battle of Conception, a 30-minute fight that marked the first major engagement of the Texas Revolution and resulted in an estimated 14 to 76 fatalities for Mexico and in only one dead Texan. As the years passed, the mission would fall into a state of disrepair until eventually it was decided steps would be taken to preserve the site, and in 1861 it was rededicated through a restoration under the Brothers of Mary. For the following 5 decades, the site would welcome a number of restorations under the Catholic Church. On April 15th of 1970, it was designated a National Historic Landmark and part of the San Antonio Mission's National Historical Park. In 1988, artwork located on the structure's ceilings and walls was refreshed, and in 2010, the Archdiocese of San Antonio would perform further restorations of the interior, exposing more frescoes in the sanctuary and nave. More recently, in 2015, Mission Conception, alongside 4 other San Antonio missions, including the Alamo, were designated under UNESCO, or the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, as a World Heritage Site, marking them as the first of such sites in Texas, and is one of only 23 total in the whole of the country. Chillingly, and not surprising in the least, local legends tell this weathered mission is haunted by the restless souls of the countless lives lost near, being of those who perished to battles, to sickness, or worse. Mission life was documented as grueling and deadly, and many who survived the rough childhoods and the subsequent breakneck work that followed often did so only to later succumb to smallpox, measles, or similar ailments, while others were caught and killed for stealing holy relics or wrapped up in lethal scandals. Additionally, competing traditional tribes would launch frequent attacks on missions, during which many of the mission's forced populace would abandon the site to rejoin their brothers, only to later be recaptured and forcibly returned by the Spanish. Incidentally, staff and visitors to Mission Conception commonly report extreme cold spots, disembodied voices and footsteps heard from empty areas, and the constant feelings of being watched, followed, touched, or even surrounded by a crowd of presences unseen. One popular legend associated with Conception tells that long ago, one Dr. Navarro who lived on site through the turn of the 20th century murdered a woman named Juana, who was either his live-in maid, lover, or possibly both, leaving her restless spirit to wander. The ghost of Juana, clad in old-fashioned clothing, has been sighted drifting the property, and sadly, at times has been heard crying from just out of sight. Several informal investigations of the area have yielded high EMF runoff levels, chilling EVPs, orbs captured in video, and strange forms in the backgrounds of photography, while others have told of being overcome by an unshakable feeling of melancholy, or of encounters with the full-bodied apparitions of soldiers, civilians, and entities in ancient native garb. A second popular legend tells of a local resident who was performing his rosary at the mission site when he witnessed a plume of smoke enter the church from the back room. This cloud formed a column in front of him before assuming an amorphous hominid shape and continued to watch him for a long while until the frightened yet curious parishioner moved and the manifestation vanished suddenly. Following, it's told that each time this resident restarted his rosary, the column would reappear, only to disappear again if he faltered or moved in any way. Not all of the spirits on site are believed to be from times held so long ago, however, and more recently, mission-goers have reported entities clad in modern clothing sighted roaming about, alongside encounters with ominous shadowy figures. A third and final mission legend surrounds the ghost of a nun who has been spied walking mission grounds, observing the living from a distance. Disturbingly, several who have witnessed this spook tell of glowing red eyes or of inexplicable chills, leading to the theory and now popular local fable that this nun actually died during an exorcism. Though whether or not this speculation holds any validity remains up for debate, and having been raised Catholic myself, I can also attest to the fact that it doesn't take demonic possession for particularly stern sisters to sport the evil eye or give off chills. Thanks for tuning in for this Paranormal Pit Stop. If you enjoyed our histories and scary stories, subscribe to our channel, like this upload, and share us with anyone you feel could use a good scare. We'll catch you next time.